Now, from a technical standpoint, this section could feel a little bit, your hand will get tired after a while because we keep on using our pinky, we keep on using our fourth finger, and these two fingers are just by nature, by design, a little bit weaker than the index and the thumb. And in order to do that, I think we have to always keep a very flexible wrist. Use the arm a bit more than you would necessarily think. And think of it as really three notes at a time. To practice it and to create a long line, we can practice it like this, for example. It's in a way getting your hand in the position of the next chord before it actually happens. We can also think of it as when one is playing the Chopin Etude No. 1. You can practice it. It's kind of like molding your hand into the next position. Practicing it like this slowly until your hands feel relaxed enough to play the whole piece without getting tired or a little bit sore in the middle. Now when we reach, there's a constant danger that we focus so much on the right hand that we forget that the left hand also is in a very supportive role. And in order to take the pressure a little bit off of creating an ongoing crescendo with the right hand, we really have to help out with the left hand. And if we're able to do that, it makes everything much easier. So in order to create a completely different sound world in this agitato section, I think another interesting thing that we can do is to take away all of these extra notes. Take away and just play the top of the right hand together with the left hand. And then we can hear how the melody, just in its purest form, would sound. In a matter of speaking, it sounds almost a little bit cruel in nature, in my opinion, just the intervals together. It sounds very primitive. And at the same time, it's yearning for something else. This is a very emotional, kind of turbulent section. Therefore, we want as much as possible to keep this feeling without letting the triplets distract us or distract us just from portraying this emotion. So in a matter of speaking, we almost want to keep this as a little filler, but it should in no way should ever feel like in order to play those notes clearly, we are taking away from the melody in the top of the right hand. Another little tip that I just have for those of you with smaller hands like I do, there is one particular interval which is difficult to reach. And so what I do in this specific bar, I take the F sharp, the lower F sharp, with the left hand. And that way I'm able to keep the top of the melody instead of having to, move the hand very quickly in order to play all the notes. So this is just something you can see if this feels well for you. Everybody's hands are a little bit different, and it's just a little trick that I had. So when I play this part, I'm always able to keep a relaxed right hand. So just see how that feels. this is another one of those bars which is a little bit trickier just from a technical standpoint, because suddenly instead of just having we suddenly have this. So when you practice it very slowly, think almost that the fourth finger is in general even weaker than the pinky. So we have to give just a little bit of extra attention, a little bit of extra thought to this note, especially that it's not even on the beat. It's being played 1, 3, 1, 1, 3, 1, dum ba dum, dum ba dum. So if we just add a little bit of pressure there when we play it faster, it can actually be audible. Because in a concert hall, if you're playing a recital somewhere, and it's a big hall, and we're playing this part very passionately with a wash of pedal, these are the details which might go missing. And just going along that same feel, when we're playing in a big concert hall where there's a lot of acoustical echo or so, we must give the sound extra time to reach the very last row of people. And there are moments where we're in our own practice room and we feel like, yes, from a tempo standpoint, everything is going as flowed, but if we were to play it that way in the concert hall, it still goes by too fast. So to make sure that everyone hears every note, don't be afraid to give just a hair more time to these extra notes. Now, after all of this, when we're reaching the fortissimo repetition of this whole middle section, I would really give it, again, extra time, because there's a very huge the left hand. Suddenly the left hand has some really difficult stuff to do. So give it time. Don't feel like this is not something that sounds good when it's being played in tempo. On the contrary, I think the more time, the more emphasis we give, the more gravity we give, the more powerful this part is going to sound for the audience. They will feel like, wow. So this part, I would say, really practice each hand a little bit separately. And in the case of here, never let the right hand distract your left hand from making the leap properly with as little risk as possible. There have been moments, of course, when I first started learning this piece myself, and I thought, this should be like a kind of tornado of sound. It should keep on going. But in a time like this, in order to build up more, reaching the triple forte, which is coming up in just a few bars, we need to still pace, and that's why the timing, the dynamic should still not be our 100% yet. It's still only at a double forte.